Chapter 4.
Human skeletal system.
Human skeletal system. The bones in the human body make up a hard structure called the skeleton or the skeletal system. The skeletal system provides a frame for the human body and supports it. Without this, the body would just be like a pile of mass, without any shape and without the ability to move. The human skeletal system not only provides the body the structure to stand up straight, but also protects all the important and delicate organs inside the body. The adult human skeleton has 206 bones. The skeletal system consists of the skull, the backbone, the rib cage, and 2 pairs of limbs, namely forelimbs or arms and hind limbs or legs. The skull. The human skull is made up of 22 bones. There are 8 bones arranged like a jigsaw that covers and protects the brain. The facial region contains 14 bones, among which only the lower jaw is movable. This part enables us to talk and eat. The backbone. The backbone or spine is the main axis of the skeleton. It helps us twist and bend and holds the body upright. It contains 33 small bones called vertebrae. These vertebrae form a strong column called the vertebral column. The vertebral column protects the spinal cord, which is a large bundle of nerves that sends information from the brain to the rest of the body. The rib cage. The heart and the lungs are protected by the rib cage. 12 pairs of bone-shaped ribs form a cage to enclose these 2 vital organs of our body. The ribs are joined to the backbone and the breastbone. If we breathe in deeply, we can feel our ribs right in the front of the body. However, the lowest 2 pairs are joined only to the backbone and are called floating ribs. The limbs. The forelimbs or arms stretch from the shoulder to the fingertips. It is joined to the spine through the shoulder girdles. The shoulder girdles consist of a pair of shoulder blades and a pair of collarbones. The hind limbs or legs are large and strong to help support the body weight. The femur in the hind limbs, also called the thigh bone, bears the weight of the whole body. It is the longest bone in the body. Roles played by the skeletal system. Indeed, the skeletal system plays many significant roles. Protection. The skull protects the brain. The vertebral column protects the spinal cord. Shape. Gives shape to the body. Support. The vertebral column holds the body upright. Movement. It makes the body flexible and helps the body parts to move. Blood production. Red blood cells to carry oxygen and white blood cells to protect against infection are produced in the bone marrow of some bones. Joints. Joints are the meeting points of 2 bones. Bones are held together at the joints by ligaments, which are like very strong rubber bands. Joints hold the bones together and allow the rigid skeleton to move. In our body, all the joints except those in the skull are movable. There are 4 types of movable joints in our body: hinge joint, ball and socket joint, pivot joint, and gliding joint. Different types of joints allow different type of movement. The hinge joint. The hinge joint is found in the elbows, knees, fingers and toes. It works like the hinges of a door. Just as most doors can only open one way, we can bend our arms and legs in one direction.
The ball and socket joint.
The shoulder and hip joints are ball and socket joints. They are made up of round end of one bone, ball, fitting into a small cup-like area, socket of another bone. Ball and socket joints allow lots of movement in every direction. The pivot joint. These joints allow parts of our body to turn. A pivot joint is found between the skull and the first 2 vertebrae of the spine. It allows us to move our head sideways, upward and downward. Pivot joints also provide for the twisting movement of the bones of the forearm against the upper arm. For instance, the movement used to turn the lid of a jar. The gliding joint. Gliding joints occur between the surfaces of 2 flat bones that are held together by ligaments. This joint is found in the wrist, ankle and between any 2 vertebrae of the spine. It allows our back to bend, twist and turn at each joint. Some of the bones in our wrists and ankles move by gliding against each other. Muscles and movement. While the skeleton has the important job of providing the body with strength and form, the task of moving the body from one place to another belongs to the muscles. Without muscles, we wouldn't be able to open our mouth, talk, wave hands, walk, laugh, blink, or even breathe. In fact, the food we eat wouldn't have moved through the digestive system without the help of the muscles. The muscles in our body contract and relax to do a task and produce movement. Most of them do this because they are attached to bones. When the muscle shortens, it pulls the bone and so moves that part of the body. The human body has about 640 muscles, making up 2/5 of its total weight. Each muscle has a name. The biggest muscle is the gluteus maximus, which is in the buttock. It pulls the thigh back as we walk, run and jump. The smallest muscle is the stapedius, which is deep in the ear. It is as thin as a cotton thread and helps to protect the ear from very loud noises. The longest muscle is the sartorius, which is like a strap running from the upper side of the hip down across the thigh to the inner side of the knee. The pectoral muscles are in the upper chest. Types of muscles. Voluntary muscles. The voluntary muscles are under our control and are attached to the skeleton. They are also known as skeletal muscles. These muscles work only when we particularly want them to. The muscles of our hands and legs are examples of voluntary muscles. Involuntary muscles, as the name suggests, the involuntary muscles are not under our control. These muscles control actions such as the movement of food from the small intestine to the large intestine or the flow of blood in the body. Cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscle is a specialized form of muscle found only in the heart. So, our heart is actually a big muscle. It is an involuntary muscle, which means it isn't under our conscious control and keeps beating without us needing to think about it. The cardiac muscle of the heart is responsible for the contractions that pump blood through the body.